And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of You Get What You Get. I'm Rickey Hampton, along with my great friends Tree McDougal and Tim Turner, coming to you on a Tuesday evening. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope everybody had a great weekend. You know, it is party time here in the state of Michigan, at least for half the state, because, you know, the Sparty fans are like hating big time because Michigan captured the uh, NCAA football title last night. Uh, of course, me being a SEC born and bred guy, hey, I'm like, hey, whatever. Congratulations to Michigan. That was a impressive performance by that defense last night to capture the NCAA title, and we're going to get into that conversation. And we got a lot to talk about. Tree and Tim, we're going to be joined by Houston-based journalist Kim Davis to talk about the upstart Houston Texans, get her thoughts. She was probably at that championship game last night. And DeMarco Ryans, and Tim, if he's not coach of the year, I mean,
Well,
there's some good candidates, but he should be the coach of the year.
I thought he would be, but he's not going to be because everybody's all eyes are going to be their eyes are going to be trained in Cleveland, where they went through four quarterbacks, and they won, and they made the playoffs for the first time in forever. So, it's a
Yeah,
bad year to be an upstart coach.
hey, some great coaching jobs. So that's a great coaching
Yeah.
job in Cleveland. But Houston won 2 games last year.
It was three. I think they were three. They won 3 games last year. This year they won the division. I think didn't they win the division?
Yeah, they won the division.
They won the division.
The epic collapse by the Jacksonville Jaguars
Oh yeah,
gave them the AFC South crown. CJ Stroud has been spectacular. Not just for a rookie quarterback tree, but for a quarterback period. And of course, we're going to get into all that with Kim when she joins us in a couple of minutes. And lots of firings, lots of jobs out there. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with some of these hirings. There's always the issue of the black coach in the NFL. Well, it's always an issue because they have made it an issue because they hadn't hired to that standard. We don't have these conversations in the NBA, Tree. I couldn't tell you now how many black coaches are in the NBA. Anybody know?
I will have you guess a bunch.
Yeah, because it doesn't.
more than a handful.
More than a handful. I would go with that.
Because
I'm trying to think of where they are. You got LA. There, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Detroit.
Sacramento.
They're playing tonight.
New Orleans. That's 5 right there.
Yeah. But the thing is, my point is, you don't even care because guys are hired and fired based on their performance. And that's all anybody wants. So you just
15.
Is it 15? So 15 and really that doesn't meet the demographics of the league, but nobody cares about that. Can you get the job done leading the team?
Yeah. If it met the demographics of the league, it would just be Steve Kerr. maybe Pop. that would be the issue. But no, it's all about meritocracy for the most part. But the thing that gets me is your boy in Detroit. I mean, my goodness, why wasn't he canned after that losing streak? I mean, some people get this real antsy. This is his second year, right?
No, this is first year.
Well, see, maybe that's why they cut him some slack.
Yeah. And they gave him $100 million. So if you remember, we're talking about Monty Williams, the Pistons coach, who was in Phoenix last year. And he had decided, you know what, I'm done with this. the Pistons approached him the first time. He said, "Nah, that's okay." They came back and say, "How much do you want?" He said, "Well, give me $100 million." They said, "Okay." He's like, "Damn." They said, "Yeah."
So I should ask for 105, 110.
and, and man, you can tell even now, making that 100 million on the sideline, sometimes he's like, why didn't I keep my ass back in Phoenix? This ain't worth $100 million when you lose 28 straight games.
Right? You're doing that, and you probably woke up on a day like today. What did it look like outside in Detroit?
Cold and rain. It's like, damn.
Okay.
Hey, Tim, I want to correct you on something. We said there were 5, you said a handful of African-American football coaches. Looks like there were only 4 as
Okay.
of December.
We need one for the thumb.
Yeah, this is D's minute.
Okay. We got
D's
Ryan's in Houston. Tomlin, who just won't die. He's like Bebe's kids in
Tomlin. You said Tomlin?
Yeah. Bowles in Tampa. And
you said Ryan's, yeah.
Todd Bowles.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right.
Well, that's it. Is that it?
Ryan's, Bowles, and
Tomlin, Bowles, Ryan, somebody.
Nobody in the NFC, nobody in the NFC East, nobody in the NFC South, except for Bowles.
I don't. Is McDaniel?
Pierce.
Pierce. McDaniel is biracial, so he counts.
Pierce in Vegas. Yep. Who's technically an interim.
Well, that's 5 right there.
Yeah.
There you go.
So 4.5, but 5. Yeah. Okay. And the deal is,
and Salah in New York is
not Iranian, but he's from the Middle East.
Yeah.
And
this is somebody wrote. I know. This is what they wrote about McDaniel. I know how he looks, but yes, he's black. I'm like, what? What is that? I know how he looks.
That dude, he is hilarious.
But I think we're making our point here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can count them. But the deal is, if you had to put in Pierce in there, all those brothers, all of them in the playoffs.
That's right.
We're all in the playoffs.
Right.
Except for Pierce.
Per as usual, and the Raiders went 5-4 under Pierce.
Yeah, right.
And that even, I was reading some stuff today that Josh McDaniels is being mentioned for some of these jobs that are open.
I cannot believe that.
Dude, are you serious?
He can't win anywhere. Maybe they think he's gonna be like Belichick. He couldn't win in Cleveland, but then he goes over to New England and just tears it up.
Wow, that is absolutely crazy. And I'm just checking here. Hey Tim, would you just send Kim a text just to make sure she got the info, because we definitely want to make sure we get her on to talk some NFL tonight. But hey, speaking of NFL, strange ending to the season in one of the NFL. No, oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Down with 1:10 to go.
I want to play this play. End of the Falcons game with the Saints. I mean, this is a great rivalry.
It is.
It is a great rivalry between the Saints, and it was like that from just Jump Street, wasn't it, Tim?
Forever today, as far as I can remember, because they came in the league the same year. They both have been tragically awful forever. The one thing that has been being held over my head by all the New Orleans fans is they've won a Super Bowl. And the Falcons, well, yeah, that.
Yep. Nope. Mm-mm.
Don't talk about
Okay,
that.
it's coming up here. The ending of this game.
I'm not sure how you feel about it, Tim. Do tell.
Yeah,
How do you feel about that for real, Tim? As a
I
Falcon,
really tried to hold back because there's a radio station here that has Matt Ryan come on a weekly basis,
here we
and
go.
I've been tempted to call in and really let him know how I feel
See,
about his work in that game.
Matthew was trying not to score on the pick.
Right. And see, this was a victory formation, and they scored.
Right.
And for those who are the uninitiated, the victory formation is essentially we're going to take a knee and let the clock run out. We're not going to try to score, and the defense relaxes.
Right.
Falcons relaxed, and that's why the Falcons former coach right there saying, "We're not going out to eat tonight. We're not going out to eat tonight. We're not going out to eat tonight. Leave me alone. We're not friends." I'm lip reading there.
Oh, that was that little exchange.
By the way, this is courtesy of the NFL. And Tim, my thing, bro, if you want to score, let's just line up.
Yeah.
Bring your pull back in and get the yard.
And do it.
Don't get in victory formation because somebody could have got hurt on the play, number one, because guys aren't going hard. You're taking a knee.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you're gonna open yourself for injuries. And I saw a story yesterday that did bring up a situation sort of kind of like that many years ago. Greg Schiano, when he was coaching the Tampa Bay Bucks, and the opposition went to the victory formation, and Schiano, who was coaching of the Bucks, had this team defense go in there and blow up the offensive line, trying to get a fumble and get a turnover, which is going to get somebody hurt. And it's poor form. I saw yesterday a clip where Shannon Sharp said what I think is, what the world should be saying. He should be cut immediately. But understanding it was a team decision, and all the players back with Jameis Winston. I saw a tweet from Jimmy Graham, the tight end, saying, everybody's coming down on Jameis. He's one of the best teammates I've ever had around. Everybody loves him. He's talking about, we do it again. And then his last sentence of that tweet was, F the Falcons.
Hey.
So it gives you an idea of what the players feel. So I'm thinking, next year, and I'm quite sure it's illegal. It's illegal to do. But if I'm like the owner of somebody, I'm like, boys, I'll pay any fines you have.
Yeah.
Any fines you have, go up there and take care of business. Run up the score, hurt their feelings, do whatever it is. Because that was the most classless Bush League thing. But then again, it was Jameis Winston. And he's not been known to be a brilliant person. That one game where he's supposed to have been hurt at Florida State, he's supposed to sit out the game. Jimbo Fisher turns around and sees Jameis is dressed out in full gear.
Yeah.
And he told him to go back in the locker room and put street clothes on.
Yeah.
Mr. Dude the store, wasn't he guilty of taking some crab legs from a Publix down there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He jumped on the table.
Maybe he likes crab legs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe he likes putting on his. Yeah, never mind.
The whole problem is if you want to score the touchdown, line up, bring your fullback in, try to score a touchdown.
Right.
Don't let
the other team relax and fake it. And people brought up the situation where like, well, what about Dan Marino when he fake pumped like he was gonna clock the ball and then threw a pass? That's totally different from the end of the game.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Those are totally different circumstances. Hey, but your thoughts on the championship game last night?
I was unhappy.
Yeah,
I'm not a big.
I
think the boy cheated. Harbaugh cheated. The team cheated. Michigan cheated. And you're starting to set a precedent here. You had somebody running the government for 4 years who was a reprehensible human being, and did all manner of bad things that were not kosher or up above board. Now you got a team where the coach is suspended for 6 weeks, 6 games this year, and they're going to walk away with a championship. So,
yeah,
I mean,
Your thoughts, Trey?
I just kind of, it was on, but after a while, it was just on. I was just like, just hammer don't hurt them. But I figured they were going to try to just keep
Hammer don't
doing
hurt
it.
them.
Hurt them. They were just.
It was a
They
good
just kept
game for
on
pace.
scoring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that defense has been outstanding all year, and last night was no different. It was old school football, the way the Big Ten grew up, and of course, Washington's in the Big Ten now. They
I don't
actually
know about it being old school football. I'll put it this way, because I think Michigan and Ohio State are the closest things to playing SEC football. SEC football. And so, yeah, this will be a rematch sometime in November. With Michigan is at Washington, I believe, in the regular season. And that just sounds so insane. You have Washington being part of the Big Ten. Some of those road trips are going to be unreal.
But what I meant by old school football, Tim, that these guys they're far more athletic than some of these other Big Ten schools. But what I mean, the philosophy of running the football.
Yeah, it was smash mouth.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But yeah, athletically, they had the athletes to do it. The guy Donovan Edwards, who had the 2 long runs, he had been quiet all year. He was the number 1 running back coming out of high school, out of Bloomfield Hills here in suburban Detroit. But man, I tell you what, I give Michael Penix a lot of credit for hanging in there and showing his toughness.
And I do like the fact that they're Michigan's assistant. Yeah, I do like the fact that Michigan's assistant coach, while Harbaugh was suspended, was able to, still lead the team, and they won games, but they still cheated.
But if you're saying that their brothers, he should be in line for a
I
job.
can't get past that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Jerome
He may want to
Moore
stay, but
will likely be the head coach there, because I'm thinking Harbaugh is gone.
Well, he's getting $100 million contract, isn't he?
He's gonna get paid now.
I saw a rumor today where they said it'd be the Beltway brothers. So
yeah, to go to DC.
Meaning that Jim would go to the Redskins or the Commanders, the Commanders, and his brother would go to would stay with Baltimore. Oh, and there she is.
There she is.
welcome.
Happy New Year.
Happy 2024.
Yes. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Tim, I'll let you do
Hello.
No, we're joined by an illustrious journalist in Houston, Kim Davis, and she is all things sports in Houston. I'm quite sure she was watching from afar the game last night, and she'll be watching this weekend. This weekend, you guys get a bye. Your Texans.
No, it's this weekend. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Saturday game.
Saturday game. But talk about last night. I mean, there had to be a buzz there in Houston outside of y'all dodging tornadoes. There had to be a buzz last night for Houston.
That actually was the buzz. It was the weather. It was a mess. It was a weather event, as we call it here in Houston. It was a lot of excitement, about the championship. But I tell you, because it's been a minute since Houston, the Texas team has been in the playoffs, and just because of how really bad this team has been in recent years, locally there was so much probably more focus on what the Texans are doing, but nationally, there was the focus on the college football championship, and I thought it would be a better football game last night, actually, than what we saw. I thought that Washington put up a little better fight, but Michigan they were just so good. They were just way too much for the Huskies to handle.
Hey,
Yeah.
Kim, before you came on, I don't even know if we were on air. We were talking about NFL coaches of the year, and it has been some outstanding jobs done across the league this year. I don't have to look any further than downtown Detroit to see what Dan Campbell's done with the Lions and uh, Cleveland, the job O'Connell's done in Cleveland, and but man, what Ryan's has done. Did you see this coming at all? Did you see Stroud coming? And did you see this team exploding like this when you guys went to camp in August, July?
So not quite like this. So I had a chance to cover D'Amico. So the fact that he is having the kind of success he's having, it talks to guys that played with him, the Andre Johnsons and Jonathan Josephs and some of the other guys who played with him. They're like, no, we're not surprised. Andre Johnson said midway through the season, he said, this is what I expected. He said he saw 10 games because he knows who Nico is. I always wanted them to draft CJ Stroud, whether they had the 1 or the 2 pick. I thought Stroud was the right guy. I did not expect that he would be this good this soon. And you just don't expect the rookie is going to give you what he's giving you in year 1. So no, I didn't expect that they'd be here now. I mean, think about it. A year ago, we're talking about the Texans firing their second coach, the second year in a row, and being just a disaster, right? An embarrassment, and people talking about the organization was talking about hiring, Josh McDowell, who had as much head coaching experience as the 4 of us collectively, and now they're talking about having a guy as a head coach who is, arguably the coach of the year. So no, I don't think we saw it this soon. I think that's what it is, that it's happened this soon, and it's been fun to watch, quite frankly. But yeah, I think there's a lot of, you said it, really good coaching jobs that we've seen this year. The thing that I think for me that gives D'Amico kind of a little bit of an edge is because he's a rookie head coach with a rookie quarterback, with a rookie offensive coordinator, and just the kinds of things they've done that go from worst to first, I think has been pretty impressive. In 1
Yeah,
year.
I'm with you. He would get my ball. They won 3 games last year.
They won 3 games last
They won
year.
3 games. Tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you may remember, Kim, I said I didn't know a lot about sports last time you were on, so I've been like,
Don't say that.
but what I did see that I liked was Stroud, because 1, he was really good, and then when they did a post-game interview, I remember they asked him what did he write on his band, if he saw that, and he had written scriptures and all these positive affirmations and his friends back home and all these things, and I was like, yeah, he's my new favorite.
Yeah.
So now I'm a little bit more engaged and definitely watching the Texans. So what what do you think?
You were talking about CJ, how he's your new favorite.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know if you
Just
heard anything.
his makeup, Kim, as a young man being thrust into this position.
He is, watching him and covering him since they drafted him, from the draft through, throughout the spring, the summer, and all season. It's just nothing short really of amazing, what you've seen from him. And, when he first got here and he comes to the podium and he always, starts with, I like to first thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And some colleagues that was sometimes like, okay, that's going to get old. But what happens is if you cover him regularly, what you realize is that is a part of the fiber of who he is. And it's not just something that he says, it's how he carries himself. And it is everything he does every day, his walk, he can't really talk to you about anything he does without talking about his faith, because that's at his core. And so it's been interesting to see people now who get it. His story's interesting. He started to talk about his father, and who is serving a lengthy prison sentence. His mom is here. She's been with them all the time. And when he first mentioned his father after one of the games and how he was going to be more vocal about the cause of prison reform, and he was very clear. He goes, I'm not saying that somebody who does something wrong shouldn't do their time, but they should be treated humanely. And his mom said to me, she said, Kim, I support him talking about that in his own time. I'd let him handle that the way he sees best. She said, because that is still his father. So that's who he is. That's the kind of foundation he has. And so it's been really kind of cool to see. And I mean, it's really inspirational, right? To see this young man handle the stuff the way he does and to stand in his truth, regardless of what he said. And sometimes he'll say, man, I know I get to ramble and you probably get tired of me talking about it. He recognizes it, but he doesn't shy away from it. And, it's kind of fascinating, quite frankly.
Are there other players that you?
Go ahead. So go ahead, Tree.
No, I was just going to follow up. Were there any other athletes that speak about their faith as much as he has? Is this something that is kind of new?
Not as much as he has. Yeah, I mean, when he and Will Anderson, they were both active. They both came in, and Will Anderson had the same, kind of posture. And but in terms of every single time that CJ steps up, without fail, not sometimes, like you're not going to have a conversation with him about something going on with his football, anything in his life, and he's not talking about his faith. His head coach, D'Amico, is also a person of a lot of faith, and so you hear from D'Amico some. But the CJ is just it's different. I mean, like after the game on Saturday night, and there was ESPN had there was a cool shot of D'Amico in the hall, like he was standing out. He greeted every player coming into the locker room, individually, and then they had a shot of him just kind of standing by himself and reflecting. And so somebody asked him yesterday, Coach, what were you thinking in that moment? There was a shot of you outside the locker room in the hall. And he said, well, I was, greeting each one of the players, he said, and then I took a moment to, I was reflecting, I'm just grateful for the moment and, and blessed to be here and taking it all in about being able to lead these young men and what they've accomplished and a moment of gratitude. And so it's not lost upon him, but there's not one that you hear it from expressed like CJ Stroud day in, day out.
Yeah. If we had a good team here in Atlanta, then I'd have a team to root for here. So, yeah.
Well, you can go ahead and root for the Texans. Yeah.
I think I will.
Go ahead, Tim. You wanted to get something in.
Go ahead, Tim. Sorry.
You wound me, Tree.
I'm from Georgia, but I also root for Alabama. So they're good. There you go.
I know.
I like winners. I like winners.
When Stroud came out, you heard all manner of evil mentioned about him and his abilities. And that's the thing that gets me. It's like, invariably come the draft, some high pick gets all these rumors start going on about him. They're talking about how dumb he was. And that was the thing that got me is like, they were attacking the kid's intelligence and, saying he would not be able to, a good fit in the NFL. And Houston blew up, just ignored all of that and took him. Maybe they had, they either had Will Anderson to come in at the fourth pick, whatever they had two guys
Third
coming
pick.
up. Yeah. Just the lottery picks you guys got up top. That has to be just a terrific thing for you guys.
Well, the talk was about CJ and the test, not the Wonder Look, but there's another test that they say he didn't do well on. Whatever that test is, they should just not. They should get rid of it because there's nothing about talking to CJ and dealing with him. I don't know what that test was, but he is his football IQ is high. He's highly intelligent. He works really hard. He studies. He's a student of the game. Like Tank Dell, who is the young receiver that went out, with a broken leg about midway of the season, was having a phenomenal rookie season. That great chemistry and connection. So we're talking to Tank one day in the locker room, and Tank said, I was talking to CJ one day and he asked a question about this play that I made when I was in college. He said, and I asked him, where'd you see that? He said, CJ told him, he said, oh yeah, I saw it on YouTube. I looked through YouTube at, players, and I just go through their old game footage, and he scours YouTube footage of players to see what they've done and studies their tendency. I mean, this is beyond what he does with game film and study. He's that guy, he's the guy that as a rookie paid for all the receivers to go out to LA and spend time together in the summer, rented a house, or as one of the tight ends said, rented a mansion. They all worked out, started getting to know each other, had a chef, building this camaraderie. This is what the rookie does. He does things now where he has a chef, the guys come over. I mean, I'm not saying he's perfect and putting wings on him, but it's amazing.
Let me jump into your point. When you do that, you can make a play like what's coming up here. When you put that kind of time in,
that right there was the most incredible play.
That was remarkable. That was a remarkable play.
There's some people I saw somebody somebody posted, they thought, it was a ball that he was just throwing away and they caught it. It was not a throwaway, right? It was a play it wasn't a throwaway play. And actually the problem was there was somebody in the wrong spot, because of the way the play was designed. But because you have that kind of chemistry, and he knew he was able to turn, and he knew that he could get the ball and put it up, and Nico would get under it. I mean, that takes some trust, and he's got incredible accuracy. He can really throw it in tight windows. So
Hey, let's get into some of the games and get your thoughts on the tournament, Kim. And let's start with Saturday's game against Cleveland. You got the old head in Flacco against the young gun CJ Stroud. But what has really rolled Cleveland to the playoffs is the defense, and that might be the best defense that CJ's this year. Your thoughts on that matchup?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, Cleveland's defense is, they've had the best defense in the league, and the thing that makes them so good really is their secondary. But they're so fast, and I think one of the things Myles Garrett is just, put him in a category by himself. He's just a special, different guy. But what those linebackers do, I think, where they fly around and the way they sit in coverage, they're really sticky. Like they don't have a lot of gaps. It's tough to really get through. And the thing that Cleveland does really well is when you get inside the 20, when you get to the red zone, you may get there, but it's tough to put in. And that's where they've been so effective. Now, this is the second time the Texans have played them in a few weeks, but the last time they played them, CJ was in concussion protocol. And so it'll be a different ball game on Saturday, but that's the big challenge is this Browns defense. I think it'll be interesting to see what they do this time around. And Flacco, who has just been playing with house money, right? No pressure. This guy came from the carpool line, and he is just playing lights out. But he has been known to turn it over. The key is you get some pressure on him. You got to, as I like to say, you got to put your hands on him. And that's what this Texas defense is going to have to do. They cannot let him sit back in that pocket and cook and just do what he wants. That's going to be the key, I think, for them on Saturday.
You look at Joe, and you look at that offense. You think about Cleveland. They lost their top rusher in Chubb, and there's this horrific accident early in the year. And they've been through, the quarterback carousel, 4 quarterbacks this year. It's been great to see that defense pretty much say, put it on us, guys, and we'll, y'all find a quarterback, we'll be all right. And then, this ancient dude comes out of there and shows them what's what. Because you think about the teams that need quarterbacks this year, and this cat was just lying around waiting for somebody to pick, to ring his phone.
Hey, the number one seed, and we'll get to the NFC, but I want to stay over in the AFC. In my mind, Kim, I'm thinking DeMarco should be the coach of the year. There's no question that Lamar Jackson should be the MVP. And the winner of this game will see Baltimore. How do you like the rest of the brackets playing out on the AFC side? We got Miami and Kansas City and Pittsburgh and Buffalo also playing this weekend.
So I'm a huge Mike Tomlin fan, but they're just overmatched, especially if they don't have, they got TJ Watt, right? He is their defense, and they're going to go into Buffalo the way that the Bills are playing. I think this is it becomes the end of the run. How special is it that once again Mike Tomlin and the Steelers will have a winning season? I mean, we'll get through a year and not have a winning record. So I do think Buffalo wins that game, and I think that Dolphins and the Chiefs game, the Dolphins just they've been a little banged up and they didn't look great. I don't think that this is a Chiefs year, but I think it's going to be tough for the Dolphins to win in Kansas City this weekend. So I think you see them emerge. And then this Texans and Cleveland game, I think the line may now be at like 2 points, basically a pick 'em. The Vegas has Cleveland as a favorite, and whoever wins this game goes into Baltimore. I think it's gonna be tough. Baltimore is definitely the best team in the AFC and maybe the best team in the league. But this weekend, I think I have to see Buffalo emerge, Kansas City emerge, and picking the Texans in a really close one. I think they could win it, but they've got to do everything right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look at those games. You look around the league, and I think it's going to be another like frigid cold front going through Kansas City on Sunday over the weekend. And you from Miami, you're not used to warmers and gloves and all that kind of stuff. It's hard. I think it's easier for the cold weather team to go play in a cold place, in a hot place, than it is to go to other.
For sure.
So,
Sure.
Gonna be, Steelers and Buffalo, that's a wash in that regard. And Tomlin has never had a losing season. But Buffalo hasn't played extremely well this year. I don't think they have. And the Chiefs
They have not.
So it's that should be a close one when you think about it. But man, the Browns and Texans. I think if you're going to pick a team to root for, it would be the Texans, because you don't want to see the same folks over and over again. I didn't feel sorry for the Patriots this year.
I didn't feel sorry for them last year. I didn't feel sorry for them the year they won it.
Yeah.
You feel sorry for them?
It's fortunate. But this is my deal. You mentioned about playing and seeing Lamar. And, at the press conference yesterday, the Falcons owner had to try to explain why they didn't go after Lamar. I mean, they put all their eggs in the basket and got played by Deshaun Watson. They had to.
I forget about that whole Deshaun Watson sweepstake.
Yeah, so Deshaun was like, they said the Falcons gonna pay him $100 million, and then Cleveland said, "We'll give you $120." He was out, and so it started that cascade thing. But they said they wouldn't. Their salary cap would not sustain trying to get Lamar Jackson. I wonder, but what does winning cost, really? If you got somebody that talented, and I thought he was crazy for having his mom as his agent. Okay, I raised my hand. But old boy,
you talked a lot about that.
Mud didn't know what she doing.
Well, yeah, Tim, you fell into that trap, of the mainstream media. Man, he can't. They're not gonna. He's got his mom as his agent. Look, the numbers are not. We're not talking about a wide range of numbers, right? It's gonna be this. It's gonna be that. And why does he need somebody else? Because are they negotiating with the person that is it about the person who's doing the deal, or is it about him and the numbers? Anyway, I love the whole thing. I was glad that he got the deal. I really didn't see Baltimore giving up on him because they really built their offense around him. So they would have had to start over. It was kind of ridiculous, but good for him. And look at the teams he quarterbacks that could have had Lamar Jackson. And because you got to have a quarterback to win in this league.
And the thing about him, he has improved his passing so much from the time he came in, and his pocket awareness. He could still kill you with the run, but he's making plays out of the pocket as well as anybody in the league. And let me tell you, if you ain't seen this dude on a regular basis, you have no chance.
Yeah.
The NFC teams that see him, I think he's 18-1 or something against it. You have no chance.
Right.
That's the 49ers.
The 49ers, they're probably going to see the 49ers again in the Super Bowl. But it's like, what are you going to do? And I think that their team is a different team. Baltimore is a much better team than the team that beat them the first part of the year. So, it's going to see what they do over there.
Yeah, so
never ever don't underestimate black moms.
I will not.
Not to underestimate black moms.
Hey, you know better than that.
In the house several times. Mama knows.
You
Mama
know
knows.
better than that. I got to tell you this quick story. I have a long version of it that I would always tell. I'll give you a quick story. Playing junior high football, fumble on the play. I recovered the fumble. I usually tell the part how I made this great play to get the fumble and all that. I'm on the bottom of the pile, Kim. All of a sudden, I hear this person say, "Get off my baby. Get off my baby." My mama ran onto the football field.
I love it.
There we go.
Hazel Hampton ran onto the football. Get off. And the fellas never let me hear the end of it. Ricky, can we get your mama a uniform next week?
The fellas never let you hear the end of it.
Never heard the end of it.
That's great. That's good stuff,
My
Ricky.
mama loved her baby boy, and she's going to go and fight for him.
She was not having it.
That's why
she was not having it. She was not having it. I think that Cleveland-Houston game might be all those are good matchups. Except I'm with you that Buffalo's just too hot right now, and Pittsburgh is missing key components. But Kansas City and Miami would be interesting. The best game should be Houston and Cleveland over there. Going to NFC where San Francisco's the number one seed. Kim, what do you see? I don't know how much you had a chance to watch the collapse of the Philadelphia Eagles, but something has to be going on beyond their play on the field to see this demise.
It's been really sad. Obviously, Jalen Hurts from this area, and you hate to see it. But they lost both coordinators. I don't think he's been healthy all year, and I think at this point they've just lost their confidence. They were they started out 10-1, and they've lost 5 of the last 6. And now they've got to go into Tampa, and Tampa might be the favorite. I mean, who would think that? One of the players that the Texans picked up, he was cut by the Eagles defensive lineman Derek Barnett, and he's now here with the Texans. He's been really kind of an undersung player over this last month on this Texans defense in terms of what he's done. And who would think that he's probably, happier to be here with the Texans than he would have been to be with the Eagles just because of the state of the organization. So you're right, Ricky. I don't know what it is other than they just, it started to slide, and they haven't been able to stop it and turn it around. And I don't know how they did this weekend, but it's been tough to see. And I'm a Jalen Hurts fan. I'm going to tell you, it's been tough to watch.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he's hurt
I'm-
this week. I think he hurt his middle finger on his throwing hand, and so
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's been healthy all season. I think he's
Right.
been he's been playing banged up all year.
and then somebody got the bright idea to make Matt Patricia the defensive coordinator and thought that was going to be an upgrade. They've gotten worse.
They've gotten worse. Yeah.
But they don't. Then he doesn't take the blame though. That it's been on the players because I think this. I heard something the other day that last year they led the league. The Phillies defense led the league with 72 sacks. This year they have like 41, and they haven't had one in over a month.
Yeah.
Now, is that scheme or is that who they've been playing? I mean, which do you blame on that? Because it can't be all.
Well, I think it's probably a combination of all of it, And when you lose both your coordinators, I think it's a big deal. Who do you replace those guys with? You're already hearing now. You've had people talk about the Texans' offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick, who's also a rookie signal caller. People are just looking at him. The Panthers, which why would you want to go to that organization? But
he's on the short list here.
To talk to him, huh?
He's on the short list here.
He's on the short list probably a number of places. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
one of the things they asked Dico today, someone asked him and said, what would you say to Bobby as he is, a guy that's going to get some looks this year? And he said, I would just tell him, to be selective, right?
Yeah.
Which is key.
Yeah.
This is what D'Amico did, right? I think you take every interview because it's good practice and you're selective. You don't have to go to an organization and work with a crazy owner like Dave Tepper, who clearly doesn't have what he's doing.
Yeah.
But be selective and good position to be in.
Kim, that is such a great point. And Tree, you can probably help us here from the corporate level. I mean, every job is just because somebody's offering you a job that could be lucrative financially, doesn't mean that's a good job.
I agree.
Make sure
you have to look at more than money.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to look at more than money. What's the atmosphere? And then even if you do all of that, sometimes it's still not a good fit. They're going to always show you your best side, right? Their best side. But to Kim's point, being really selective. So what, Tim?
I said there's no best side in Carolina. I bet if they tried to put their best foot forward, they will fall on their faces.
Wow.
I mean, that's the dude's throwing coffee on
drinks on fans,
whatever it was. Yeah, I mean,
fired the last two coaches.
That was just the most recent one.
Yeah. I mean, damn, he makes Israel look like a good guy, man, in Indianapolis. I'm like, damn, you gotta be kidding me. So that is important, and it's going to be interesting to see because with all these jobs out here, we were talking about the issue of diversity early on, Kim, and to see who will fill that in terms of African Americans. That's been a long-standing issue in the NFL, and we were talking about that earlier as opposed to the NBA. I mean, you don't even know. You don't even care because Black coaches are going to get their chance. They'll be hired and fired. That's all anybody wants to see what they can do. There's some Black coaches can't coach their way out of a paper bag. Hey, fire his butt. That's all we want. The equal. We want to be as bad as Matt Patricia.
And still get a shot.
And what McDaniels? He's always fine. His name is always out there. But we're talking about how many African American coaches there are in the league, and they're 5, and we were saying 4 of them are in the playoffs. You got Ryan, Tomlin, Bowles, and McDaniels. Pierce is the only one that's not in there. It's Vegas, and he should be. They should take the interim tag off of him. And he should be the full-time
guy. They should, but they probably won't, unfortunately. And, I don't know, Mike McDaniels doesn't really like to call himself
Yeah.
you know, he don't really like to
Those
go that out. But
observations
let me
things
get
is-
right.
He ain't
Yeah,
been pulled over
let me
yet.
yeah, he ain't been pulled over yet. Hey, let me give you a name that I think I'm still amazed that he doesn't have a head coaching job. And I think he's a person that the team he used to be with misses, and they'll never say that. That's
No,
Eric
no, no, no.
Bieniemy.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Say it. Say
She
it.
already
Eric
said you did.
Bieniemy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Eric
yeah.
Bieniemy. I think
Yes.
Kansas City offense has
Yes, they
missed
missed
him
him.
this year.
Absolutely.
And no
Mhm.
one wants to say it. It's like, oh, well, you know, they don't really have, you know, Tyreek Hill's gone. But he was already
Well, see,
gone.
that's
But
what I was gonna say. They miss Tyreek more than they miss Eric because they're still running the same plays. They just don't have the same receivers out there. You got brother lining up offside on offense, screwing up a touchdown.
because
They
you
would
don't
have
have
won.
Eric getting on them, getting in them about
Yeah.
those little details. But
I
yeah,
definitely
I think
think
they
they
miss
are.
Bieniemy.
I totally agree. And another great candidate, and I think he's already been contacted here in Detroit. The defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, just a great
Yeah,
leader of men. But let's, man, the
a
time is
fellow
just,
Aggie for me.
is it? Yeah. I mean, just a
Yeah,
great leader of men.
Isn't
And the offense,
Campbell's an Aggie too, right?
I don't know.
I'm
I don't
sorry.
remember.
Well,
You know.
I saw they showed some pictures of him at A&M. He won some sort of like team award, team spirit award, and he looked
Okay,
like he was
he could
one
be.
third, one
Campbell?
third the size he is now. He was a small football player then, but he's all beef and muscle now.
Who are you talking about?
Yeah, and Aaron Glenn
Campbell.
also played for the
Campbell.
Texas Campbell. Mm-hmm.
I want to
Yeah,
ask
Dan
Kim a
Campbell.
question
Dan
before we
Campbell
go
is
though.
a Aggie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kim, you remember how we were talking about? So remember when they used to not have a lot of black quarterbacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that now that we have a lot of black quarterbacks, do you think that there'll be a time when there'll be more head coaches, though, black head coaches, since we were talking about the lack thereof?
You know, I don't know. I'd like to think so, but that position is one that you know, I think, listen, that's that last little piece of power they hold on to, right? That power and that
I get
control.
that. Yes, I get that.
And I think it's like, oh, we can
You're
just
right.
keep this. And so
Can we not
we
just
have
keep
these kind of
this?
ebbs and flows. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's tough for them, you know, make all the rules become really very different in terms of what they look for. And so, you know, we have more this year than we did last year.
Mhm.
What's it gonna look like next year? You know, there going to be some openings. You know, there's already a few openings, and so I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know that we'll see that number explode a whole lot there, and also on the general manager side, people calling
Mhm.
the shots and making the real decisions. That's tough for them to give us that piece.
Mhm.
Well, even when
Yeah.
they give you that piece, it doesn't look like you really have authority. And I do case in point, bringing it back home to Atlanta. Yesterday they had the press conference about the firing of the coach, and they had the owner and like the director of
Mm-hmm.
player
Mhm.
personnel and the general manager, who's a brother, was back at Flowery Branch somewhere else in another part of town. They said he was taking care of business, but it's like,
Take
What kind of
business.
what kind of business?
This is
Yeah,
this is his business, right?
What?
you would think that
I mean, my
would be
goodness.
his primary gig, but
My-
they,
This is kind of the business.
yeah, but everybody was saying it's
Yeah.
like, so is this how it's going to be? Are they trying to send signals that he doesn't have all that power? And maybe you bring in somebody like, and they keep mentioning Belichick. I don't want him here. They
Oh my God.
and they're like, he's somebody who wants absolute power. They mentioned Harbaugh, another guy who probably wants to have absolute power. And so they feel it would be awkward to have the GM in the room during the interview process and saying, yeah, we'll give you his job if you
Right.
come here.
If you
So,
you can have his job too.
yeah, it's going to be
Yeah.
a problem. So
Mhm.
that kind of thing, because he has the job here, now it looks like he's been emasculated in this process. Although they said they will get input from the general manager, as opposed to most GMs hire the guys, right? Isn't that
Right.
their gig?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not giving input, but making the hire. So
Right. Yeah.
And you know that's great transition because I want to talk. You talk about in my mind, you will have a black man as coach of the year, a black quarterback as the MVP, and I would give Brad Holmes here in Detroit the GM of the year. The way he has built this roster,
Yeah.
hey, Dan Campbell gets a lot of credit, and he has done a good job. But at the essence of this rebuild in Detroit, it's been Brad Holmes. Look at their draft this year. Jameer Gibbs, who, why you draft this guy at 12? He is an absolute game breaker. Laporta set the rookie record. Jack Campbell, all defensive team. All four of these guys made the all rookie
didn't you have a
team.
DB also? Didn't you draft the defensive back who was like
Brian Branch.
Yes, Branch.
Oh yeah.
Brian
He
Branch had
destroyed the Falcons.
four interceptions. They got him in the third round. Amon-Ra St. Brown, fourth round. I mean, every guy he's drafted is still on the roster here. And when I talk, being here so long, it's even hard for me to still talk about the Lions like this. But he has built a freaking. I still think they are a year away, although I think they can beat LA this weekend because Matthew will throw you one or two. You got to make sure you make a play on it when he does. And I think they're going to be able to run the football. But I see San Francisco coming out of the NFC. Does anybody see anything different? Because we're kind of pressed for time now, guys. It's been such a great conversation, Kim, that we got to have you back as these playoffs go on too.
Well, we got like 2 minutes left, and we want to close with something else, don't we, Rick?
Yeah. What was the? Tell me.
Oh, I can't tell you. Don't you have an image that I sent you?
Don't I have a what?
The image, a photo that I sent you. I texted you a photo.
I'm thinking not.
Oh, I can't hear you, Tim.
I texted you a photo like around 4:00, 4:43.
Oh, I don't, Tim. I didn't get it. Oh man. Hey, this is live streaming here. Tim, I did not get it.
You
I
did get
see it now.
Kim was like, "What? I'm with you, Kim. What?"
What? What is happening?
We will
I
have
don't
to
know
do
what's
it next
happening.
week. I just saw the
I don't know
photo.
what's happening.
It was a photo. I think I was sending this photo. I texted it.
Oh man!
And there's a girl with a hat right there. That's Tree McDougal. Tomorrow's her birthday.
Is
And
it
so-
tomorrow?
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you.
She's all fun and games. She sees a girl in the front that didn't look so happy because Tree took her cake. I don't know anything about that. I'm just exaggerating.
Your day is coming,
Tim,
Tim. Your
the
day.
photo never download. I never got it.
It never came? Oh man, it
No.
stinks.
It never came in. It
Okay.
never got.
All right.
Hey, but we
Well, thank you,
definitely wanna
guys.
wish Tree a happy birthday. And Kim,
Yeah.
people need to know how to follow you to get your tremendous insight on the game and all things athletics in the Houston area and beyond.
So you can follow me at Kim Y Davis. You can follow me there on Twitter. You can follow me there on Facebook, and on Instagram is Kim Y Davis Media. But if you follow me there, you'll get links and find out when I'm going to be on shows, different places. I have a show every Tuesday that's live called Chalk Talk once a week, and then I'll do a lot of other shows, TV shows in the market. But if you follow me on Twitter, you'll find out, when I'm on. I'm actually doing the Texans Extra Point Show, which is a pregame show that they have. It'll be it's usually on a Saturday night after the newscast, but because it's a Saturday game, it's going to be a Friday night broadcast. It's on the ABC station, but the Texans will also put it on their YouTube channel. So I'll post the link to the show so you can see it there.
You can get it online.
Yeah.
I mean, KPRC, is that it? Is that the station, ABC station there? PRC.
Yeah, it's the ABC station. Yeah, and the Texans put everything on their YouTube channel. So yeah.
Have you
We'll
changed the show time? One more question. Have you changed the time of your show? Because I think
Oh, it's 11. It's 11 every Tuesday, 11 Central.
okay.
Yeah.
That's noon Eastern.
Hey Kim, one more thing before you go with the national championship. You kind of spoke to it earlier, just a little bit more on that. I mean, here in Detroit, people are just going absolutely crazy about this game. Did having the national championship, has that kind of overshadowed? Now that that's gone, are people just locking in on Saturday now?
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a big thing, because this Texans team they were last in the playoffs in 2019, which when you think about it, it's not so long ago, but they were so bad and they were so dysfunctional. And some of that dysfunction's kind of reared its head. There was a story that popped in the Houston Chronicle today about ownership and some infighting with the family. I say that's rich people's problems about one brother taking another brother. Of course, it's a billionaire problem. So I don't think most people will even. It's a distraction for whom, right? Like your billionaire brother is suing the other billionaire brother. What does that have to do with what's happening on the field? Probably nothing. But beyond that, it's just such a different team. Nico Collins is a member of Big Blue, and so he's a guy in the locker room that obviously was super excited and connected about it. And it's funny because CJ Stroud went to the Ohio State, and CJ said, listen, we just kind of had a truce. We just didn't talk about it, right? In terms of Ohio State winning. But there's a lot of guys on this team from Alabama, including the head coach, Treese. D'Amico Ryans went to Alabama. About five. Will Anderson went to Alabama. Christian Harris. Got probably 5 guys on this roster that went to Alabama University. So college football is, they got some bragging rights in the locker room, but people are locked in and pretty excited about what's going to happen this weekend. They're getting back, but it takes a minute. They lost a bit of their fan base with just the shenanigans they've had over the past few years, but they're getting them back. They're getting them back.
Yeah. Hey, one other thing. Tell my good buddy Andre Ware I said, what's up? And he needs to come and do our show.
Well, you should call him. He's pretty good about it. I mean, he does mine sometime. And he's fun to have on, provides such great insight. And he and I have talked about Stroud as well. And he said, listen, nobody saw that he this soon. And so you definitely should. I'll talk to you offline. Make sure you guys are connected.
Andre came along at the wrong time. I've mentioned it on previous shows. They had no idea what I was covering that team at the time. They had no idea what to do with him here in Detroit. If he was playing today, he would be lighting things up because that young man could do it. And he was always one of my favorites. But make sure you tell him I said hello. But we got to get out of here.
I will tell him. As always, guys, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Treese, it's good to see you, and happy birthday tomorrow.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
For Kim, I guess Kim Davis, I'm Rick Hampton, Tim Turner, and the birthday girl, Tree McDougal. Peace, everybody.
Be kind. Yeah, be kind, everybody.
All right. See you guys.